This is a story about a delicate and cute crush on a straight man with a big nerve and a suspected two-way crush on childhood sweethearts. At the beginning of this story, Youcai and Hanjun met for the first time as children. At that playground full of stars, Hanjun gave his luck to Youcai, hoping that he can grant his wish when the meteor shower falls. Hanjun will always send his heart to Youcai unconditionally. These two poor and lonely children grew up together and have since become the most unique existence in each other's lives. Hanjun and Youcai went to the same high school and have always been close. Even in the eyes of Chae, who likes Hanjun, they are the best buddies. So Chae likes Youcai and wants to match her up through Hanjun because they are already in their third year of high school and will be graduating soon. Hanjun, who has always had a crush on Youcai, is not willing to do so. He pretends to evade but actually refuses at all. Youcai, who saw Chae and Hanjun standing together from a distance, put down the basketball in his hand and interrupted the conversation between the two. He also told Chae that he had that kind of relationship with Hanjun, which made Hanjun very excited. But in a blink of an eye, Youcai had an affair with Chae, implying that he cared about her previous illness. Hanjun reminded Youcai not to flirt with Chae if he is not attracted to him. Youcai asked him back, "How do you know I don't like it?" Hanjun didn't believe it, and told him not to make such jokes. Every time he gets closer to Youcai, Hanjun likes him more, even if this love never reciprocated. In order to attend the same cram school as Youcai, Hanjun paid the tuition with his part-time job in the boxing gym. For Hanjun, a top student, of course he can get into the first class in any exam, but his family can't provide him with financial support. The owner of the boxing gym liked him very much, not only gave him a salary increase, but also taught him boxing for free from time to time. On the other side, Yuji's family is also not peaceful, and his father is not doing business and only cares about stock trading, only relying on his mother's meager salary to support the family. The two quarreled constantly every day, which made Youcai very tired. Hanjun, who easily won the first place, got into the first class as he wished, while Youcai and Chae were in the second class next door. Jin Ren, who was in the same class as Hanjun, was curious to see the injury on his face. Hanjun explained that he got the injury part-time in the boxing gym and taught Jin Ren boxing moves. Hanjun and Jin Ren went out of class together, but saw Youcai and Chae behaving intimately in the classroom. Jin Ren asks Hanjun Chae if he likes Youcai. Hanjun doesn't answer by default. When Hanjun was alone with Youcai, Youcai unconsciously leaned on his shoulder because he fell asleep. Hanjun looked at him quietly, unable to calm his heartbeat at this moment. Youcai obviously sees people approaching Hanjun. Both boys and girls will be jealous, but he just refuses to admit that he likes Hanjun. Why is this? In the cram school, only people from Class 1 and Class 2 were eligible to go to the self-study room. Hanjun discussed with Jin Ren and felt that it was unfair. Youcai and Chae invited them to dinner, and the four of them often met and formed a group. Jin Ren asked Hanjun what he wanted to do after graduating from high school, and Hanjun told him that he wanted to go to the beach with the person he liked. Jin Ren asked him who he liked. Hanjun recalled the image of Youcai leaning on his shoulder, and hurriedly said that he was talking nonsense. He didn't like anyone. Youcai on the side is busy flirting with Chae, boasting that her childhood photos are very cute. When Hanjun came home, he saw his mother drinking to relieve his worries. In order to reduce the burden on his mother, he took the initiative to say that he felt bad after attending the cram school, so he wanted to refund the tuition fee, and the tuition fee could be used to subsidize the rent. Mom just let him go to class well. Youcai saw Hanjun eating alone in the consultation room, so he teased him that he liked the side dishes he brought. The two of them fed each other, and Hanjun's sadness disappeared in an instant. Jin Ren liked that Chae was too shy to ask her directly, so he turned to Hanjun. Youcai saw that the two were having a lively chat, and he was unhappy again, so he deliberately asked Chae's personality type in the group. Hanjun blamed Youcai for being so reckless. It would embarrass Jin Ren to ask this directly in the group. Youcai asked angrily why Hanjun didn't stand by him when he knew he was having an affair with Chae. Hanjun said sadly that he thought Youcai and Chae were not serious. He sent an apology message to Jin Hwan and Yoo-jae saw it. Yoo-jae was very upset and didn't understand why he apologized, so the two broke up. Because Yoo-jae asked about Chae-young's personality type in the group, Chae-young misunderstood that Yoo-jae liked her. Hanjun wants to explain and tell Chae-young that's not the case, and is stopped by Jin Hwan. It may be because of the empathy of the same crush. Jin Hwan told Hanjun that this kind of crush belongs to him alone, so he likes it very much. Even if that person does not belong to him in the end, he will be very happy. Hanjun told Jin Hwan that he also has someone he likes, and took Jin Hwan to a part-time boxing gym. Hanjun ran into Yoo-jae who was waiting for him at the door on the way home. Yoo-jae asked him if he was angry with himself and didn't take the initiative to contact him.
아니 너가 학원 끝나고 윤청이랑 따로 할 말 있다길래 나는 끼어들면 안 될 것 같아서.
And Yoo-jae acted like a baby and asked Hanjun to invite him to dinner, because he didn't even eat by himself. Sure enough, when he heard that Yoo-jae hadn't eaten, Hanjun immediately expressed his concern, but he also said that he had already had dinner, and the owner of the boxing gym invited him to Jin Hwan. As soon as he heard that Hanjun had brought Jin Hwan to the boxing gym, Yoo-jae immediately exploded, and said without hesitation that he didn't like the reckless sport of boxing. Hanjun was also very angry when he heard Yoo-jae say that, and blamed him for always hurting others regardless of other people's feelings, and the two broke up again. Yoo-jae got home and unexpectedly got a call from Hanjun's mother, but his mother obviously didn't want to answer the call. The next day Yoo-jae and Hanjun met in the school corridor. Hanjun wanted to talk to him. Yoo-jae was still angry and ignored him. When everyone was playing dodgeball together, Hanjun remembered that Yoo-jae had previously criticized boxing as a reckless sport, and the more he thought about it, the more angry he was, and he dunked the ball directly in Yoo-jae's face. Seeing that Yoo-jae was really bleeding, Hanjun asked him if he was okay in a panic. Yoo-jae joked that you were trying to kill me. Hanjun was worried and hurried him to the infirmary. Yoo-jae asked Hanjun to sit next to him, and said sorry to him. He seemed to be like his parents, the kind of person who didn't care about others' feelings and hurt others at will. Hanjun retorted that no, you are a very kind person. Yoo-jae immediately said that he would apologize to Jin Hwan, and the two reconciled as before. Yoo-jae took the initiative to reject Chae-young, saying that he had to prepare well for the college entrance examination, so he could not confess to Chae-young. To avoid Chae-young, Yoo-jae would rather hide in Hanjun's stuffy little room than in the air-conditioned study room, because the house was too hot. Yoo-jae and Hanjun decided to go to the coffee shop. Hanjun didn't have much money, and in the end Yoo-jae paid for it.
대학 가면 막 미팅도 하고 CC도 하고 그런다는데 너도 그럴까? 우리 학교에서 제일 예쁜 애랑 사귈 거니까.
Afterwards, Hanjun learned about Yoo-jae's father, who had made a lot of money by investing in stocks through his classmates, and decided to move. He felt very complicated and wanted to leave the coffee shop early. Yoo-jae pulled him back. Hanjun asked him why he didn't tell himself about it, knowing that his family was better off and would only congratulate him. Yoo-jae said that he leaked the truth and told Hanjun that his mother finally found a job as a cook and decided to move to Daejeon. Hanjun, whose self-esteem was hurt, wanted to leave, but Yoo-jae tried to hold him back, but he slapped him backhand, and the two broke up again. Hanjun's mother felt sorry for being helpless financially, and Hanjun, who couldn't bear her mother's hard support for herself, cried bitterly. At school, it was rumored that Hanjun hit Yoo-jae, and everyone talked about it. Yoo-jae stopped Hanjun from showing his love to him, and suggested that the two could live together after they were admitted to university. Hanjun stammered and agreed.
우리 같이 살래? 미쳤어.
When leaving, Yoo-jae tied Hanjun's loose shoelaces, and the relationship between the two gradually became deeper and deeper in the process of quarreling and reconciling. Yoo-jae's family moved into a big house, but the parents still quarreled every now and then. Hanjun finally moved because of economic reasons. The house is small and can only accommodate him alone, and he didn't tell Yoo-jae about the upcoming college entrance examination. Yoo-jae cared about Hanjun very much, not only dressed him thoughtfully, but also kept reminding Hanjun not to forget the agreement between the two. Hanjun asks why he is so nice to himself.
우린 하나밖에 없는? 베스트 프렌드잖냐.
Hanjun and Yoo-jae also made an appointment, and they will travel together every year when they go to university. It's strange that Yoo-jae is the one who makes the promise first every time, but also the one who breaks the promise first. Yoo-jae gave Hanjun a ginkgo leaf saying it would bring good luck, and Hanjun also bought expensive blessing chocolates for Yoo-jae. After the college entrance examination, Hanjun waited anxiously for Yoo-jae's call, and his mother teased him that Yoo-jae was the number one in Hanjun's heart. Yoo-jae was very angry when he found out that Hanjun had moved without telling himself, and threw the box of chocolates in front of Hanjun. Yoo-jae asked Hanjun angrily why he bought such expensive chocolates for him when he couldn't even afford to eat.
좋아해서 그랬다. 너랑 사귀고 싶어. 너무 좋아서. 너무 좋아해서.
Yoo-jae accepted the incompetence and turned away. Others have been looking for their wives for 7 years, just hiding for a while. Yoo-jae, you who just ran away should not be sentenced to a wifeless prison sentence. Yoo-jae is also very desperate. After Hanjun confessed to him, he said that he couldn't date him and never contacted him again. Then he disappeared without a trace. He didn't hear from him for 5 months. He didn't even go to get his graduation certificate received. But for Hanjun, 5 months is too short, not enough for him to better sort out his feelings. Yoo-jae hopes to always have Hanjun by his side. He thinks this is an inseparable friendship. Since childhood, Yoo-jae must have Hanjun's tacit understanding by his side. Yoo-jae and Hanjun went to the same university again, reunited at a college party. Hanjun glanced at the dazzling Yoo-jae, but turned his head and just chatted and drank with the girls around him until he got drunk. Yoo-jae, who has been silently watching Hanjun, sent him back to the dormitory. The two decided to be friends again in embarrassment and embarrassment. Yoo-jae also teased Hanjun that he only had 1 bottle of alcohol. Remember to pay attention next time. Yoo-jae also said that Hanjun's lack of news made him very sad, and hoped that the two could go back to the beginning, and asked Hanjun if he had sorted out his relationship. The one who loves first is always the loser. Hanjun still can't let go of Yoo-jae after all, so he promised the two to be friends again.
너
Yoo-jae noticed the box of chocolates as he was leaving, as if to prove that the incident had indeed been turned around. Yoo-jae threw away the box of chocolates in front of Hanjun again, and Hanjun was very disappointed. Friends shouldn't be exclusive, but in Yoo-jae's heart, he should always be Hanjun's number one. So after the two reconciled, Yoo-jae returned to the previous state of wanting to cling to Hanjun for 24 hours. On the surface, it seems that Yoo-jae rejected Hanjun's confession, but in fact, in the relationship between the two, Yoo-jae is always the one who is being manipulated. He was the one who apologized when he was beaten, and he was the one who showed his kindness first when he was scolded. Even Hanjun disappeared for 5 months without saying hello, and in the end he had to take the initiative to say that he wanted to reconcile. This is not love. Yoo-jae calls Hanjun every day, and every time Hanjun says he is staying with other friends, he is very interested. He has to ask which friend it is, and finally insists on joining him. Isn't this jealous? Yoo-jae finds out that Hanjun is with a girl who has a crush on him, so he can make trouble. Co-authored Playing Hooligans in the Name of Friends, Hanjun can only be surrounded by Yoo-jae, but they are just best buddies. Yoo-jae hates everyone who approaches Hanjun equally, male or female. I also gradually discovered Hanjun's resistance to their physical contact, so I was always very afraid that Hanjun would leave him again and disappear. Friends will not have such a strong possessive desire. Only lovers can. Wake up, Yoo-jae. Yoo-jae is drunk and wants Hanjun to sleep next to him like before. Hanjun directly refuses.
이제 손도 대지 말라고. 그래, 그게 좋겠어.
Yoo-jae saw the senior who wanted to buy a computer for Hanjun, so he hurriedly bought a computer to give to Hanjun. The two also had a quarrel because of this. Hanjun thought the gift was too expensive and refused to accept it. Yoo-jae thought that if it was a gift from a senior, Hanjun would definitely accept it.
네, 형.
그놈의 형형 소리는
그냥 파이트클럽 사람들이랑 조촐하게 같이 갈래?
내가 거기 왜 가?
At the birthday party organized by the seniors for Hanjun, Yoo-jae and Hanjun were drawn in a lottery, and the task was to kiss. Hanjun looked at Yoo-jae, who was getting closer and closer, and he ran away first. In fact, Yoo-jae is the one who loves without knowing it, and always wants to lock Hanjun firmly by his side in the name of a friend. Hanjun, who can't control his feelings, sues Jae. His every word and deed will affect him, and he also asked Jae if he is proud that his every word and deed can affect his heart, so that he can't control every word and every action of Jae, and have delusions. Delusion Hanjun is different in Jae, the most special existence, so let's call it a day. Hanjun can't sleep in the same bed with Jae shoulder to shoulder and hand in hand as if nothing happened. Hanjun still likes Jae, the kind he can't control himself. That's why he wants to escape, to a place where there is no Jae.
이렇게 좋아하면 머리가 돌아버리겠는데.
Jae, who saw that Hanjun was trying to run away again, grabbed him and kissed him. Unexpectedly, Jae and Hanjun, who had kissed before, fell into a dilemma again, and officially opened the state where he ran away from him and chased him without wings. Every time Jae wants to ask Hanjun to have a serious talk about this matter, Hanjun avoids talking about it, and avoids meeting him and answering the phone. Even if he made an appointment to do group assignments, Hanjun also contacted other people in advance to say that he would be absent due to illness, but the assignments had already been done. Jae was very angry at Hanjun's ostrich behavior, but the girl next to him told Jae that Hanjun has always been this kind of person who would rather wrong himself than hurt others. Jae knew that Hanjun's illness might be just an excuse, but he was still worried, so he bought medicine and went to the dormitory to wait for Hanjun. After the two met, Hanjun took the initiative to say that it can be regarded as there is no such thing as kissing, which is meaningless in the first place.
너랑 그러는 거 생각은 해봤었는데 막상 해보니까 별거 없더라.
Jae is not happy anymore. Why should he say such things against his will? Hanjun asked Jae back, isn't that what you want to say? He clearly knows what I like, but still treats me well without knowing how to measure, acting as if he can't live without me, but then turns around and says that we just need to be the best buddies. Jae looked at Hanjun, who was repeatedly tortured and pulled by this kind of liking, and only then did he suddenly realize that this is liking. It turned out that I was suffering because of Hanjun's disappearance for 5 months without any reason. I saw men and women all leaning towards Hanjun's side, and I just wanted them to get away. I wanted to treat him unconditionally, and I just wanted to be the number one around him. This feeling turned out to be like it. Jae understood his heart, and immediately asked if the two of them should date. Although Hanjun was surprised, he agreed. After Hanjun and Jae dated, they are sweet together every day. The seniors in the boxing club ridiculed Hanjun, and now they don't know whether Hanjun is from the boxing club or the basketball club. Jae is very jealous of the senior, and after dating, she can finally be jealous openly, especially for the fact that Hanjun always calls the senior. Jae is very concerned, seeing that Hanjun and senior are still tacitly wearing the t-shirt of the boxing club. Jae insists on letting Hanjun take it off. Jae also said against his will that Hanjun can go to the team building of the boxing club without taking care of him. Hanjun was really afraid of the jealous king, so he hurriedly said no. Jae also turned into a wife-watching maniac overnight, and the two fell into a sweet couple mode, wearing the same couple shoes, going cycling together, keeping every anniversary in mind, and recording every important event with photos day. With the upcoming 100th day of love, Hanjun is thinking about booking a restaurant to celebrate, but Hanjun suddenly couldn't contact his mother, so he hurried to Taejun to look for it. Before leaving, he sent a message to Jae, saying that he was not going to class and had something to deal with at home. Unexpectedly, the landlord said that my mother no longer lives here. Hanjun, who couldn't get in touch with his mother, could only be anxious like a headless chicken. There was also an accident at Yuji's family here. The parents who had been arguing all their lives decided to divorce, and there was a disagreement about his custody. Mom wants to take him away, so she and Dad care about every penny of child support. Dad sneered at his mother and said that Jae can find a good job after graduating from college, and she will be able to support her mother for the rest of her life. The two quarreled again because of how to divide the security deposit of the house. Jae, who had seen his parents quarrel countless times and was already tired, broke out and told them not to drag him into the dispute between the two. Papa felt his authority was offended, so he slapped Jae casually. After being beaten, Jae ignored her mother's persuasion and left the broken home angrily. Hanjun, who couldn't contact his mother in Taejun, was very desperate. He blamed himself for not contacting his mother for so long and why he only cared about falling in love with him. Now he knows nothing about his mother's situation except that he knows that his mother is helping the cook in a restaurant. Hanjun finally found a noodle shop where his mother helped cook. The owner of the restaurant said that his mother had taken leave a week ago to see her son, and said that his mother owed a lot of money with a bad attitude, and creditors kept coming to her door. The restaurant owner also said that Hanjun's mother had accidentally sprinkled sliced noodles on the customer's lap, and the settlement money was not paid. And then he said viciously that he would call the police. Seeing the restaurant owner talking too much, Hanjun furiously said that he would pay back the money for his mother. The aunt who was also helping the kitchen in the restaurant chased Hanjun out and told Hanjun that his mother did not hide because of debts, but should be sick and hospitalized. Hanjun, who didn't know anything about his mother's illness, blamed himself, hailed a taxi and rushed to the hospital. Along the way, because of sadness, I didn't see the message from Youcai. Youcai arrived at the restaurant early because he wanted to spend the 100th anniversary with Hanjun at his dream restaurant. After waiting for a long time, Hanjun didn't come or contact him. The waiter in the restaurant reminded Youcai that it closes at 9 o'clock, and even if his friends don't come, he still has to order food. Youcai firmly believed that Hanjun would come, and ordered 2 delicious steaks and continued to wait. But when the restaurant closed, Hanjun didn't come to the restaurant and didn't contact him. The cold steak, the lonely self, and the family full of fluff. Youcai felt abandoned by the whole world at that moment. Hanjun, who finally found his mother in the hospital ward, couldn't hold back any longer.
그래도 얘기는 해줬어야지. 이사 간 줄도 몰랐잖아.
Hanjun's mother saw her son dressed so handsomely, so she wanted to tease him and said, "The son dressed so handsomely probably not because he came to see me." Suddenly remembered Hanjun who was dating Youcai, only to find that his coat and cell phone were left in the taxi. It feels too late for Hanjun. Youcai must not be waiting for him anymore. Mom told Hanjun, "Since you have to go to an appointment with an important person, go there as soon as possible, and don't give up your liking easily." After speaking, he took out his wallet and stuffed the money into Hanjun's hand, urging him to leave. Both Hanjun and Youcai's families are facing no small problems, but Hanjun is luckier than Youcai because his mother puts him first no matter what, and always understands his hard work, so that he can do what he likes without any worries. So even if life is difficult, Hanjun has always maintained a heart that dares to give and is kind. Even if it hurts himself, he will not take the initiative to hurt others. Hanjun was encouraged by his mother to have infinite courage, and decided to go back to Youcai. On the car ride back, Hanjun was full of thoughts. Whether as a friend or a lover, Youcai is a very good person. Even if he confessed to Youcai at that time, Youcai didn't understand and never thought of letting Hanjun leave him. Hanjun was apprehensive and worried, and kept recalling the picture of Youcai and him voluntarily submitting before. At that time, Youcai put forward a condition, which was to prohibit Hanjun from losing contact again. The incident like disappearing without a trace after the college entrance examination must never happen again. If he loses contact and does not answer the phone again, Youcai will never talk to Hanjun again. At that time, Hanjun agreed without hesitation, thinking that he would never lose contact again. But unexpectedly, he still missed Youcai's call by mistake. "If I want to meet the person I love, then I must run to meet the person I love the most as fast as possible." After getting out of the car and running wildly on the street, Hanjun finally saw Youcai, who had been waiting for him on the familiar swing in the park where he first met. Youcai saw the traces of crying on Hanjun's face, and asked him if he was crying because he was worried that he would ignore him. Hanjun explained that it wasn't, and turned to see the bruise on Youcai's face. Youcai immediately showed weakness and said that his parents divorced and beat him because of the bond quarrel, and he doesn't know where he can live in the future. Hanjun loudly said that it's okay if everything is messed up. Don't worry, with him around, he will never let his partner have no place to live. Youcai said with a smile, "You answer the phone first and then talk." Embarrassed, Hanjun hurriedly took out the lipstick as a gift to change the subject, but Youcai asked him to paint it for himself. After Hanjun finished applying the lipstick for him, Youcai said that he also prepared a pair of rings as a gift, but it needs to be customized. Hanjun blames himself for missing the appointment and messing up Youcai's plan. Youcai smiled and took out the ring for Hanjun to put on. and the two held hands and looked at their favorite starry sky together. For the rest of their lives, they will fulfill their promises one by one, drink together, travel together, and spend the rest of their lives together. At the beginning of the story, when Youcai is a unique friendship, but Hanjun is a unique love, they are constantly jealous, quarreling, and reconciling with each other. Just because in the hearts of Youcai and Hanjun, each other is as dazzling as stars, and they cannot stop chasing each other. Unique existence. No matter how long it has passed, Youcai will always be the most shining star in Hanjun's heart and the star worth chasing.